to the Football 360 show, the fastest 48 minutes of football talk on the planet. I am your host, JP Rock. He is the host, Matt Beeren. How you doing today, Matt?
Doing well.
A lot of football happenings going on. We're going to talk about today. Check us out on YouTube as well as X/Twitter. Still having kids today call it Twitter, Matt, when I'm trying to talk to them about it. We're live.
Make them know, JP. It's X.
As I'm telling you, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be the old guy. You're supposed to know that it's X. So yeah, check us out on X as well as YouTube at Football 360 Show. You can also catch us on the website football360show.com, as well as Spotify and Apple. And of course, you can hear us on Saturday mornings, 590 a.m. KLIS, your Lou Info station, louinfo.com. Today's show brought to you by Offered, right? Get the Offered app. It's a tool. It's the best tool, the number one tool out there, right, Matt? To help you track your football recruitment, get in touch with college coaches, and help you with the recruiting game. Where do people go to find out more about that? Tell us about it.
Get Offered, OFFRD.com. It will be in the App Store pretty soon. But yeah, honestly, JP, like with what you're doing, and then what Get Offered does is like it's just a really good compatible strategy management system where you got your hand to hand with you teaching and saying, hey, it's what we need you to do. And then we have on the flip side, like think of it like for parents, it's a CRM for your recruiting, right? A messaging system. It gives you follow-up data, like when you should be getting back to the coaches. It teaches you like, hey, what are some good fit schools? Like say you have JP tell you, hey, these are the areas you should be looking school level wise. You have an expert telling you, hey, listen, you should be looking at FCS level to high level division twos. Well, that really then reins in what you're going to be searching and who you're going to be messaging, right? And so those are, you're able to do that. You're directly able to go right through the app and send messages and then track who's opening your message and
right.
All that fun stuff.
That's a big part because a lot of guys put stuff out on X and they never know if anybody's seeing it or who's, anybody's checking them out. And I mean, they do it daily, which is not the way to go. And also by game plan strategies, helping navigate football features your path, our plan, one goal. Game Plan Strategies Consulting was founded to fill a critical gap in the football journey, providing football players, parents, and coaches with trusted answers for the tough questions that often go unaddressed. So gpsfootball.org. And today, talked to a bunch of parents and talk to them about, Get Offered, talk to them about Game Plan Strategies. And the feedback that I got was they don't know, right? They have young players. They're getting pulled in different directions. They're hearing things from different schools, coaches, friends, trainers. One parent was telling me about their child and coaches within the school trying to get them to play sports that don't necessarily benefit their football future. And so, they don't know what to do. They're going to be doing some 7-on-7. They're coaches wanting them to play other sports. And it's something that you really need to start thinking about from like youth football on. Talk to another parent, a youth football parent who is there and talking about potential schools that they're stressing over potential schools, where to send their son to school, who's a high level player. And that's exactly what, Game Plan Strategies was started and founded for, to fill that gap because parents don't.
There's so many tough questions. As you say, tough questions but the tough thing as a parent, going through it myself and you and I have advised so many over the years that had so many of these conversations, some you could overthink things, right?
Absolutely.
So that's where having another voice really comes in and helps. But you can also underthink it or just be woefully, and this is in the kindest term, woefully ignorant of the situation, right? And
it's not your fault. Yeah.
So many people don't know what they don't know, and they have people in their ear, if they do, are being taught and focused on the wrong things. And then you have the kids who are getting pulled in the wrong direction, oftentimes with things that don't matter, like, worrying about what other offers other kids have, right? Like at the end of the day, You have to run your race. You have to like do what you can do, control what you can control. It's, everybody's different. Everybody's experience is different. Does not mean the end game, end result's going to be just because you and I have seen kids that recruiting goes really easy for, and at the end of the day, college football is very hard for.
Yes.
Other kids who recruiting was really hard for, and college football ends up being the best thing ever for them, right? I mean,
Yep.
There was plenty of kids in Cody Schrader's class that got all the recruiting attention and all the visits and all the offers and all the money and all that. And then they fall by the wayside. And then by the end, University of Missouri is naming their weight room after Cody Schrader and being right. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That was
it's amazing.
Mizzou would not even sniff coming out of high school, would not even acknowledge that he was, like someone that they could even consider walking on at the time.
Correct.
So, there's so many different ins and outs to it. But to your point, like these questions, I think the number one thing that I've found through the years, and then even that seeing, like now that we've expanded our net and with the offered, I mean, we have kids from pretty much every state that have signed up and have registered their accounts in the system. And what you start to see is there's just not a lot of knowledge, and there's people looking for knowledge, right? So we have sections of that educate you, but I can see what time, how much people spend on certain spots within the site. And, people need to spend a lot more time on your recruiting knowledge component, where you're learning what the expectations are from an academic perspective, what an official visit is versus an unofficial versus a game day visit versus some strategies around when you go there, what you should be thinking about, like what are those things and why are you doing what you're doing and not mindful, not just, mindlessly following the herd. Right. And so, asking questions, but I think the biggest thing is like, if someone's listening to this show, the first step, they've taken the first step and they're learning and they're starting to understand what recruiting is, what it isn't. And they're opening their eyes to the process, right? Because so many people have this like little pinpoint view of like this small view of, well, yeah, this guy that we work with, he had a kid last year go to Oklahoma, right? Or wherever he went. And they think by association that their kid's gonna go there, right? And that is not how it works. There's far too many variables. But that person may have just gotten lucky. Like that kid might not, might not play there. Who knows, right? Like, but there's systems in place that you can provide, we can provide that, and we're giving answers on here. Like we're talking about it. Like there's not stuff that we are holding back. Like we talk about stuff pretty freely. I just know that most parents don't know what they don't know, and that's to say with all due respect, right? Like my wife, there's only certain things she knows about the recruiting stuff because that's what she knows what she needs to know about it, because like at some point she will probably weigh heavy into a decision from a family perspective and not necessarily the football perspective, if that makes sense, because she's going to come from a more practical, hey, have we thought about this? But
yeah, she's coming from a day-to-day life experience, right?
Yes.
Recruiting's totally different. And what I do is, that helps with, navigating stuff. What I can do is I can tell you what the recruiting speak means, right? So what I offer is being able to help people who are in the recruiting process. And, my clients have come to me, they hear from a coach, well, they're doing this, well, they say this. I can tell you exactly what that really means. Unfortunately, had somebody who came to me and said, the school this late in the day, they were thinking about signing and wanting to know about it. And the school's like, well, we're going to wait till February. Well, that's not a good sign, right?
Don't like that.
So they were trying to tell them something. They were trying to do something without telling them. So they came to me and I was able to tell them exactly what that meant and exactly what they should do to counter that. And see that the problem is parents don't have that knowledge. So they're just left and the parents were gutted. They said they were absolutely gutted by what has happened, because it was, you know, they live this dream. Parents live and die with this stuff every day. So do kids. So do
So
players.
I think I'm familiar with the situation, and so
Well, that's a different one.
a
There's more
different.
than one. Oh
So this
yeah.
this
Oh
scenario,
yeah.
like a young man has been committed since the summer.
Yep.
Did an official visit, and they say, "Hey, we want you to sign." You know, to sign. December's an early signing period, right? So if you've been committed, you know, you want to go get that commitment and done, signed, and sealed and delivered, and be done, right? Even if you're not early enrolling, right? And was then told like, "Hey, what, you haven't heard anything about the signing date? Like, what are we going to do?" Well, hey, we're only going to sign a couple guys in December. But here's the thing: if you're committed and they're not letting you sign in December, I don't like that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's no limit on what they can sign in December, right? They can.
Right.
So that means, in my opinion, what that is that they're waiting for the transfer portal, right? They're looking to see what they can find in the transfer portal, and if they don't get what they want, then they're going to say, "Hey, you
Then
know,"
they'll come back around. They'll come back around to you, and
and
that's exactly what it is. They want more ready-made players, and if they want to, it's called slow playing. They're slow playing you. They want to
and
keep
they
you. They want to
and
keep
I'm
you on
familiar.
hold while they're looking around. It's like as if you're dating a girl, right? And you're like, I think we should take a break, right? That usually means I'm going to see other people. Right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna see other people over here. So that's what they're doing. They're wanting to see other people. I know what you're talking about, and that's a horrible situation too. And really, they want the young man. They're like, well, if you want to announce that you're decommitted and show others, man, that's just bad business.
well, and I think like in a scenario like that, of what I had said to him was, "Hey, like if that happens, and if they get you to decommit, then basically the onus is off of them,
Yeah,
right? Like, hey, this
right.
kid decommitted,
They're
even though
trying to
they're
force.
telling
They're trying
you,
to force him to make the decision for them because they
right,
don't have they don't want to do it themselves.
and that is just to me, then you have to look and say, do I really want to play for these guys if they're going to
Right.
behave like that? I saw some people this weekend. And I know their son, and one of the moms uh, was talking to me about recruiting process and this and that, and their son's at a Division One at Power Four, and she said something. We said, "Oh," I said, "Yeah, my son's a freshman now." She's like, "Oh my God," and all that. She couldn't believe it how old he's gotten,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, just get ready for the whole process because there's a lot of lying that takes place," and it's really unfortunate because that is a lot of the sentiment that you get from families, right? You get a lot of um, distrust, a lot of like broken promises, a lot of things that just don't go as a lot of things in the real world go, like in the
Right.
business world, like where what you say you're going to do, you do. A lot of that does not happen, and some of it's just because of the system, and like the guy you're dealing with oftentimes is not the decision maker, and the decision maker ends up changing and saying, "No, we're going with 2 linebackers instead of 3 this year." Um, but yeah, JP, to
So
me, it's one of those things where it will test every fiber within you. I was at a college game this weekend. We had a great experience at Northwestern. We did a little game day visit and with my son, and it's good because he's young and so he's getting to drink it in. I don't think that he thinks too much of it. It's one thing. It's just I think he's enjoying getting to go see some college football be played and be a part of something. And it is definitely nice to be invited to those games, right?
sure.
Because there's not a lot of other 29s there. There's a couple, but yeah, it's good. But I was talking to a dad from Minnesota, and you could just tell like it's just wearing on him. He's a class of his kid's a 2026.
Mm,
It was his 5th time at Northwestern, right?
yeah. See,
Whether
I could tell you what that means.
right, so you're not getting offered, right?
Well,
Or unless someone else's unless
well,
someone else doesn't go.
I mean, it means a few things, but I totally get what you're saying, and I mean that's really. And I was talking to the parent today. Of course, I was at the Boom 7-on-7. You see your nice Boom hat right there,
Oh yeah, still got it on.
and just explaining the whole genesis of game plan strategies and why it was done, and that's the reason why it's draining. mentally, it's draining physically, it drains your pocketbook, your bank account. And so it's good to have, somebody who can advise you, a sounding board, somebody who has answers, somebody who can advise you down that path, because it is really, you're blind. Yeah, and you don't know what's going on. And you've dealt with everybody, and people come at you, and so it's like this is the best way to do it. So to have something like, because there's nothing really out there like it.
No,
And
I mean,
so
it's the years of experience and be able to do that stuff, right? And then understanding, like, having these conversations so many times, but the problem is, like, you've had it, I've had it. I was talking to a guy the other night. His son was a 5-star coming out of high school, right? And went through
mhm.
the whole thing, and then had a coaching change, went to a really
Mm,
good school, then had a coaching change. Now he's at a new program.
yep.
And, the tough thing with that is like, like the amount of, and went through the entire recruiting process, got to see all the cool things, and,
Sure.
but a lot of people telling you what you want to hear and all that
Yep.
stuff to get you to come,
Love you, man. Yeah.
right. And then, and then the coaching change occurs, and then you realize you're there, and the new coaching staff does not have the same affinity for you that the other group did. Right.
Correct.
And, because they have a different mindset and a different plan of attack. And so that's why you see kids, and that's why I do like the transfer portal, for especially for kids when coaches change. But you just listen to, like, the evolution of the parent going through the recruiting process to when they're actually kids in school.
Yeah.
And then that's a whole other set of deals that you have to manage, right? Because then you have the transfer portal and all that different stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah, I think having these conversations with parents so many times over the years and hearing the same patterns repeat themselves, it's for you and I, it's easy to give that advice because it's
Yep.
coming from a place of knowledge and firsthand experience. But a parent going through it for the first time, you don't have the chance to make that mistake. You don't have the time to make that mistake. You do not.
Yeah.
If someone can help at least advise you, it's not going to be perfect. You and I aren't perfect as far as, like, hey, you have to do this, because the problem is at the end of the day, you still got to make a decision on what you're going to do.
Correct.
There's a lot of work that you have to do on your end to make it stick.
Yep.
But there's things to alleviate the recruiting process. I heard a story the other day that it was just really interesting about a kid and recruited, offered, and then they come to the financial aspect, right?
Arrangements, right.
And so, quarterbacks get paid pretty good money. And so, like, as you and I talked about, like they take this money, that's this $21 million or whatever they have, $22 million. And then, like, let's say 17 of it's going to the football team. Well, then you have, let's say 20% of that money or 18% of that money of, like, let's just say they have 17 million, right? And that's in their budget that they have to pay to the players. And 18% of that, so 3 million goes to the quarterbacks, right? So say like $1.5 million goes to the starter.
Well, you're talking like 3.5 million to Arch Manning.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So you have $1.5 million to divide between the next 3 guys, right? Well, then the number 2 guy is probably a high level guy. So let's say he's going to get 750, right? So now you got 750. And now you got 810,000 between the next 2. Well, if that next guy's a high level guy, they're going to give that guy another 700, right?
Yeah.
You have another guy who's got 700, and then you got the last guy's going to get, 100, 200,000. Well, the problem is when you're trying to bring 2 guys in the same class at the same position, and they have you talk to the bean counters, right?
Yeah.
The bean counters, you're slotted to be the fourth.
Correct.
So this is what we slot this is what we give. So that just tells you what I'm saying is correct.
Yeah.
We have a slot for 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 5, 6 don't get anything.
Right.
But
so they're not gonna give you necessarily what you're worth, which comes into play,
well, here's the thing: when other schools are slotting you as a 1 or 2, even
Correct.
though they don't have the same budget,
Right.
your pay is going to be better. And so now you're looking at a scenario where, like, like when I heard him say that, I thought, man, they should have never let the bean counter, talk to you about, like, put in his mind, oh yeah, you're just the 4th. Well,
Right.
when your kid is rated as high, if not higher than the other kid that you know is getting more money,
Correct.
now suddenly you're like, well, wait, why would I go there? Because there's the die has been cast. Like they already think
Yes.
this guy is better than me, even though
Right.
you and I know the competition ultimately will play out, and the best man wins out typically. But we've seen scenarios where I have firsthand witnessed quarterbacks, in particular, because it's easier to see when it's just a one person position, where you can see coaches putting their thumbs on the competition of who they want to be. It's human nature. Guys have their favorites, and so they always say the best man wins. That is not always the case. That is, I can tell you multiple Power Four schools this year that I have good knowledge of, where the best quarterback on the team is not playing. Right?
It's a business, and there's investment involved, and so they're going to try to get their money's worth from their investment, right? They want return on investment, and so they're going to put that out there, even if it is not the best product, because they want return on their investment. They're not just going to let it sit on the wayside and waste that money, right? So you're right. They have that in play, and the parent that you're talking about, the quarterback, they were informed, right? They knew to ask for certain amount of money, and if they weren't offered that amount of money, that they probably shouldn't play there.
Yeah,
So that
right. I mean,
so they were
that's where we're talking to other people.
right,
You
right.
know,
All
like,
things being equal, it comes down to the money. You like this place more, but you'd be willing to go here because they were going to give you more money, and they don't pony up with the money. Boom, you're going to go to that other school
because as the old
and be
adage,
the man.
money talks, and you know what walks,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely, especially when the situation is you're probably gonna play at the other place sooner, right?
Mm.
Make your money there, and you're not married to it for life. So you're there a year or 2, and guess what? Everybody's gonna come calling because the season's not over and schools are already they got their wish lists out, and they're, backdoor channeling guys that they wanna try even if they're not in the p transfer portal.
Mhm.
Right? Gonna put it in their ear. Hey, man, if you went to the transfer portal, you came here, you could make X, you could make, this. So it's a business. It's really become a big business, and it's really business from youth football on. And that's why, like I said, I was talking to some parents, and they're stressing over what high school is in it, which they should. As it's such an important, and as you well know, you stressed over it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
With Braden, and I think he's in a good situation. Of course, you're very intimately knowledged with that situation, so that helps.
Yeah, and like, but the problem is that you don't like. There's a lot of really good quality programs that are play deep into the postseason every
Yeah.
year.
Yep.
But you don't confuse that with preparing you for college, right? Just
Right.
like there is a couple coaches in town that I absolutely cannot say enough positive things about,
Right.
as far as like their track record and producing guys that go on and do well,
Winning. Yeah.
just win and do it right on every level, right? And
Yep.
that doesn't mean they win state championships every year. That just means they compete every single year.
Yep.
And those guys, um, they're not easy to come by, across the country, not let alone in Missouri. But I think finding a good fit for your child where they're going to get on the field within relative, you don't want them just playing their senior year.
Right.
I mean, that's the kiss of death as far as recruiting goes. Not playing your sophomore year hurts. It could be overcome. But if you're a quarterback, you definitely want to be on the field as a sophomore.
Right. You definitely got to make decisions like that. And you want to make the decision to check us out on KLIS 590 AM Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. football season. You don't want to miss it. So anyway, we're back. We're talking about programs and fits and just entering high school football. Is important, and it's having those conversations. And as you were saying, you know, there could be really good programs. They can produce players. They could be pipeline programs. They can be winning, competing for state championships every year, but it might not be a good fit for your kid.
Especially if he doesn't get on the field till he's a senior year,
Yeah,
right?
right. And if it's a pipeline school, there's a good chance at that. I mean, you and I see it all the time. The pipeline schools, the big name schools, they you know, they line them up just like Alabama, just like,
Oh yeah,
you know, Notre Dame. They're, you know, I mean, think about it. I mean, Jeremiah Love is at Notre Dame is above and beyond, but they got Aeneas Williams sitting there, you know, who plays a little bit. They got a bunch of backs that are
crazy 'cause
talented.
he played more last year, and and it's like
Right.
a kid like that, was a rising star. But then you see like Jeremiah Love's their guy, right?
Yep.
And they
He's
have
elevated himself. Yeah.
got the other running back, like. But when Jeremiah leaves and goes to the NFL, then Aeneas has his shot, right?
Right.
So the
And
next man up.
and you got to think about that in high school too, you know, and
It's
it's yeah, it's really tough. Changing gears a little bit, well, since we're the second half of the program already, let's talk some college football. Mizzou, lot of Mizzou news coming out. Unfortunately, they lost to Oklahoma. You know, fans are getting restless at 7-4 before the season. You know, I predicted. I think it was. I don't know. I predicted that they'd win 8 or 9 games. I really thought that based on their schedule, a 10-game season was very, very doable, very possible. They started out 6 games at home, and not against the toughest competition. And so fans are getting a little restless that they're not beating the better teams.
Yeah, the Vanderbilt one I think was a killer.
That was.
That was a killer because they could have won that.
Yep.
And then A&M, I don't think they had a shot.
No.
And then, but Alabama was a winnable game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
if you're
the
gonna take a turn, you got to win. You got to win those games.
exactly. When the year is they're ready for the picking, you got to go ahead and take it. And Oklahoma's rebounded. You know, they look like they were in a little trouble, but they've rebounded and they're playing well. They got Arkansas this weekend, and that should be a win. They're a program that's in disarray a little bit, looking for a coach. I know there's rumors about Drinkowitz going to Arkansas. I don't see that happening. But that's the other.
Campbell might be going there from Iowa State.
Is that right? His name every year is associated with various teams. I know Drinkwitz's name was associated with Penn State, as well as Florida, as well as Auburn. You know, we'll see. Apparently, there's a board of curators meeting happening in about 15 minutes, I guess it is, where they're supposed to talk. People think they're going to offer him a new contract extension. Now he's making pretty big money. I thought he just signed one.
He got one last year, right?
Yeah, but if they want to keep him, I mean, money talks, and he does have some options. I know he had said he was not
talking to him.
Yeah, and I know he had said he wasn't really happy because he didn't feel that he had the resources of other programs, right? NLI money and things such as that. And so, is that a negotiating ploy? Could be, I mean, or is that just something that he doesn't feel that he can raise the program to the level?
You got Lane Kiffin, man. He's setting the stage for a massive payout, right? I mean, does Ole Miss have the same money to match
LSU?
LSU probably not, but again, I'm kind of in the boat with him. Like, you got a pretty good thing going. I mean, yes, I understand 70 million versus 90 million. There's a big difference, but
right.
There's something to be said for being content in where you are in life too. When
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, like, I guess though, like the human condition, and sometimes you're a glutton for punishment, right? Like there's certain things you do in business where you're like, I really don't even have to do this, right? But I'm going to do it because I want to do it. I'm going to prove that I can do it.
Right.
And I think sometimes you see coaches fall into that trap, right? And I think financially, he's already set, right?
Yes.
I mean, he's in a good position. He's got a buyout that's already there that I'm sure is pretty significant. So, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does because that's going to set the stage for a lot of other coaches.
It was. I mean, the amount of money floating around, pardon me, is just kind of crazy. I mean, think about it. If Drinkowitz gets a raise, at 7-4 after getting one last year,
he is. I mean, $9 million a year right now, something like that.
Yeah. So you're putting him in the upper stratosphere, right? I mean, are you willing to do that for the product that has been produced?
And I'm sure there'll be some consternation and pushback a little bit on that.
Oh,
because, like at what point, what is the ceiling for Mizzou? Is it 10 wins 3 years in a row?
Yeah.
Is it 10 years or 10 years of 10 wins, but no championship? Right. I mean, like, they spend money, but are we going to be able to overcome that? And I don't know. Anything's possible. You look at Indiana. I think one could argue like they have such an advantageous schedule that they should be, if they're as good as people think they are, they should be undefeated.
Correct.
2 years in a row through the regular season.
Right. I mean, they're not playing in the SEC. You hear everybody squawking last week about Alabama and guys playing like lesser opponents. I mean, the argument is like if you look at like legitimately, if the SEC had to play one more in-conference game, the damage it would do to them, because it's not like they have any like selections of too many cream puffs to choose from, right? Like, like who's your off week game? Your off SEC game. Right.
The proverbial whipping child for all those years was Vanderbilt, and they were in the top 10 this year, top 15.
Right.
But like, I mean, yeah, Florida's bad this year, but I wouldn't want to play them, like on a down year when you need to absolutely get a win at the end of the year. Like they got really good athletes. Same with LSU.
Right. Even Arkansas is going to probably give Mizzou a pretty good game because they have athletes, right? South Carolina, they're a tough opponent. I was having this conversation
with Texas A&M a week or two ago.
Right. Yeah, I was having this conversation with somebody, and they were talking about, we were talking about Pac-10 and SEC, and really once you get past a few of those top programs, your Oregons, schools like that, how many of those teams could hang in the SEC?
Like I'm watching Northwestern and Minnesota this week, live up and close, personal, like both really good football teams, like high level football teams. I don't know. Let's just put it this way. They are designed differently than say what I saw when Mizzou and Alabama played each other. Like it's just, there's just a different design in the athlete. Now, like there was a Minnesota had a defensive end that was just, he was every bit of 6'6", 6'7", 290. But that being said, Coach Bill O'Boyle, friend of us, great guy, his O-line, literally, they'd given up 2 sacks the last 2 games prior to that. And I'm pretty sure they didn't give up a sack that entire game. Like they have their left tackle. I've been meaning to look him up. He's got to be like a top prospect of the draft. I mean, he was 6'7", moved extremely. The right tackle was really good. Their offensive line looked outstanding, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, like they were well-built Big Ten teams, but they definitely look different. Now, granted, Northwestern is the Stanford,
correct?
It's
high academic.
I mean, you're looking at like the extreme. And I will tell you, my son had an opportunity to go to Northwestern. I think I would be like, "Hey, you go." Like,
it's a pretty sweet deal. Yeah.
The way that they treat the athletes, the environment, the new stadium they're building. I mean, JP, this thing's unbelievable. It's like $1 billion, like $1 billion stadium for college.
That's amazing. It's amazing the money that's
going not a monstrosity. It's like a 40,000, 45,000 in the middle of a neighborhood in Chicago. I mean, like, so, but yeah, I will say, hey, Wrigley Field, the experience of being at a football game.
That had to be cool, yeah.
JP, it was really cool. And I have to give a shout out. Our guy, Talon Chandler, was there.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to talk to him?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, nice. Look, he came over, spent time, talked to us before the game.
Yeah.
And Robbie Preckle, again,
he's
another
doing well. Yeah.
He was returning kicks.
Well,
6'3", 250.
Yeah.
So
he wore that. He wore that logo on your hat on a shirt last year.
Yeah, I mean that's like that kid. Hey, Talon Chandler played boom.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. He did.
Robbie, though, I was talking to Coach O'Boyle. I said something to him about Robbie. I said, how's Talon and Robbie doing? He said, oh, they're doing great. And he says, Robbie, we have to chase him out of the building because he's in there at all hours of the night watching film.
Yeah,
because he's watching as much film as the coaches, right? And this kid's a freshman, and but they have he's playing like tailback or H-back / tailback and some tight end. They just he scored a 2-point conversion that arguably really put them back in the game because otherwise they won by a field goal. And, there was a missed field goal at the very end to tie. And but you're a true freshman and you're making an impact, and he didn't get there till June.
So I'm telling you what,
I will tell you, he is a kid's got a tremendous amount of talent.
Yep.
But he is the blueprint for getting to college and doing it right. He never missed days in the weight room. He almost did too much in the weight room. He and Coach Justin Gage trained all the time, worked all together. He came home on his break from college. He was in training. He's already told me as soon as he gets back from their bowl game, because they qualified for a bowl game now, bowl eligible, that he'll have some time off. He's got his plan made out. He's already told me he's going to be in. He wants to work out X number of days a week, catching balls, running routes, lifting weights. That's what he wants to do, right? So he's a guy, when they go, talk to him about money, and what they can pay him this, because they do that in November. They're gonna be doing that real soon. They'll be negotiating their deals for next year. And a guy like him should get paid because he's proven a vital asset, and he's proven
he's produced
that he's produced. And a guy like Talon, who's like got 2 seniors ahead of him, those guys graduate. They say that he's doing so well, like on the scout team, that the D coordinator's like, hey, this dude's going to be an all conference center for us, right? Those are the kids that train, though. Those are the guys that are tested in high school, that are not afraid to show up, and they actually learn to love the sport they're playing, and not just, it's not another sport they play.
Yeah, football, you have to have that,
right?
To reach a high level of success, especially if you're not like just a freakish athlete. You have to have that love, and because that love translates into the discipline to do everything you need to do to be able to play at that high of a level. So great for those guys. You were talking about Coach Justin Gage. Got to see him on Saturday. Huge game, just a heck of a game. Have you ever been to a game at Jackson?
Yeah, I actually coached in the game Blaine Gabbert's senior year. We went down in a rainstorm, and we ended up beating them down there.
It's a fun place.
Awesome.
They have it, how they have it set up. The visitors sideline is about the size of a postage stamp, right?
There's no room.
There's absolutely nothing there. And then you have the fans right behind you, and it's just fun. Heck of a game, 45-42, I believe the final score was. I was standing down there on the sideline. I've never seen a team come out more fired up and do so much off of adrenaline as I have Jackson. I mean, they were shot out of a cannon sky high from the first play, and they jumped on CBC. It was 17-0. CBC didn't even know what had really hit.
And that hasn't happened to CBC in a long time.
No, and then it's like, uh-oh. But I knew, knowing CBC, man, they can score in a hurry. So you better rack up more than 17-point lead. And, once CBC got going, they overcame that. I think it was like 31-7 at one point, and wound up being 45-42, with Jackson needing a 4th and 5 conversion with like 2.5 minutes left, close to 3. And I'm telling you what, Matt, if they do not make that, and I even said to the people on the Jackson sideline, I'm like, if they don't make this, I go, CBC's going to go down, score, and win. Because it just was that level. And just a heck of a performance from Nick McClellan, who was banged up. I don't know if a lot of people know that. He was injured. He played injured.
He was pretty banged up.
Very banged up. But you could tell when he was trying to run, they were able to get to him and sack him, because he was not as mobile as he usually is, leg injury. But I'll tell you what, he still threw for around 300 yards, 350 yards, something like that. Like, it was 17-26. I mean, just a heck of a performance. And Victor Williams, I mean, just such a talented running back. But I'll tell you what, the guy who really had a game and might not get a lot of talk about it was Corday Gage, both offensively and defensively, and kicking the ball. Coach Gage.
So one of the, you would know this better than me, but apparently there was a time they went for it instead of maybe possibly when they could have kicked.
Right.
And I think there's some kicking themselves because I think Corday's like, I could have made that kick, one of those
Oh,
deals.
yeah.
It was a long kick,
Yeah.
but that probably would have ended up being the
Tying the game, sending it to OT.
I don't know what point in the game, but one of the coaches had told me that there was some consternation after the fact of like, ooh, shoot, we probably could have kicked that.
It was a great time. Great, very much a college atmosphere going on there. And there was a college game going on down the road. Gotta give a shout out to Lindenwood beating SEMO down there. Huge game. Jared Rhodes, who had a big game down there
he was there today at the tryout.
I was just gonna say that here he's like the man, right? Winning a game, big game, and now this week he's
such
there
a good
coaching.
kid, man. What just such a great kid.
He is, and he's gonna be successful in what he does, whatever he does, because he's just that guy. But no, great game. CBC, who had been top ranked, and you and I had talked before. There's nobody that's unbeatable. Right in Missouri high school football, it just doesn't work that way. I don't care if you're a fanboy, you think their offense is the greatest thing since sliced bread, whatever. There's nobody that's unbeatable, and you're seeing the showdowns happen. Jackson, just a great program. Coach Nesbitt really has those guys rolling. But I'm telling you what, I mean, they have a bunch of D1, offensive linemen. They have a really talented quarterback in Drew Parsons, who we had talked about, last week, that it was going to be a good game and a close game because of him, because of Jalen Hampton, and those guys showed up. Really good wide receiver named Jory. Oh my gosh, what is his name? First name's Jory. Can't remember the last part of it, but man, really good junior wide receiver. But Jackson seems to produce those guys.
They do. Guys.
Speaking of boom, you might want to look into that young man because
he's got a couple more weeks up to the plays. Or at least
Right. But Jory Toma, Thoma, really nice receiver. I mean, just in the first half of the game, he was just shredding the CBC defensive back, caught the first 2 touchdowns, and I was like, whoa, you don't see this against CBC.
Number 10.
Yep, Jory Toma. So you might want to remember that.
I remember of Kai Crow that they had last year.
Very much bingo. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They seem to produce those guys. And I don't know what it is. They produce big guys, right? Got a chance to talk with Bryson Wessel and Braden Harris after the game. Bryson Wessel, of course, was one of the MVPs of the Elite Football Combine earlier this year, and just rose after that, and had been committed to Iowa State. And now he's going to Mizzou. He was telling me he's going to, they want him to be just like Connor Tollison as far as he's going to play center. Plays left tackle now, 6'4", 6'5", 275, 80 pounds right now. And super athletic, more athletic than Connor coming out of high school, the same stage. And then big Bryant Harris, 6'7", 285, who was at the St. Louis KC varsity, was one of the finalists of the King of the Hill there. I mean,
remember that? Yeah. He's
big old dude, and just a great kid all around. Again, that's a reflection of Coach Nesbitt. But high school,
great job.
He's done a phenomenal job, and just such a humble guy. He's walking off the field, and I'm shake his hand, congratulate him, and he's just like, just
So who do they got next?
So Jackson has Lee Summit, who we talked about last week. Interesting team coming up. Don't really have a quarterback. They play out of the Wildcat. They have 3 guys, a big wide receiver, 6'2", 200, named Karsten Feeney, and then twin brothers, Preston and Peyton Hatfield, who are running back at a wide receiver. They got a huge offensive line. They got a huge defensive line. Their nose tackle's about 350, but he can move. And they got speed on defense. They got speed at linebacker, speed at safety. So that's going to be a really interesting game. You got size against size, and you got speed against speed. And so, game like that, it might come down to a Drew Parsons, quarterback.
A running team with this weather we're about to get is going to be probably better than being a straight up passing team.
Correct. You're going to line up and grind it out. Yeah. which the weather's interesting play. I know that a couple of teams have changed their schedule and are going to play on Friday.
Yeah.
Kirkwood's playing Platte County on Friday at 3:00, and St. Pius, the 10th of Festus, is playing Monroe City at 1:00 on Friday. Which, speaking of St. Pius, the 10th, man, they don't get a lot of talk, right? But they're really good. I know they're class 2, I do believe it is. But man, they have a nice little program with some nice players on it. They have a young man named Cody Shaver, right? Running back, junior running back, who's rushed for 2,782 yards this season. And he reminds me a little bit of another gentleman with the name of Cody. Maybe not that, but like almost 2,800 yards and 30 touchdowns rushing down there. They have a nice quarterback. I'm sure you know about Evan Eckridge.
Yep. No, Evan.
Yep. And just a nice team. And they're going to be playing that's going to be a good game against Monroe City. Monroe City has some nice players. Wyatt Graves is the quarterback. Of course, Wyatt came to the elite combine. I wonder if people pick up on a theme here. But
which is only a few months away.
Only a few months away. You're right. Go ahead and sell it right now.
It'll be March 14th.
Yep.
Do not miss. We'll have a junior middle school combine, which is going to be President's Day in February. So that'll be another one to lock in if you're a 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th grader.
Yep. So the Jackson and Lee Summit team will play the Nixa and Pattonville team, and that's at Pattonville. And how would you like to be Pattonville having Nixa come? Big Jackson Cantwell.
Are they coming to Pattonville?
They're coming to Pattonville,
man. That Saturday?
Or that is Saturday at 1:00. So I mean, you want to get out there and see some big time football. Guy who's ranked #1 in the nation by some. That's going to be an interesting game. Really talented quarterback, Adam McKnight, as well. In Class 5, we have Platte County coming to Kirkwood. We're having all these teams from the other side of the state coming here. That's going to be a really good game. Going to be a lot of yards played in that one. I think Kirkwood scored 70 in their last one, right? Something like that.
Should be a heck of a game. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town at a college football game. So I was hoping it was going to be Saturday, but I guess I'll be at Pattonville on Saturday now.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
and then really interesting, Cardinal Ritter goes to Carthage, right? They're in the Final Four. Carthage is an interesting team. That's going to be a tough game. Travel, first of all, getting to Carthage, Missouri. Don't know if you ever been there, but that's a trek. It's like
is it near Springfield-ish?
Yeah, it's past Springfield.
Oh wow.
Heading west towards Kansas. So that'll be interesting for them. And then of course, Festus, Kearney, Missouri comes to Festus. So that's a good opportunity for people to see, Carter Temple and those guys, the Beaver Brothers. If you want to see an interesting team, the Beaver Brothers. Got to hurry this up. And of course, we'll stop with St. Mary's and Hannibal. Hannibal's coming to town at Missouri Baptist, Mo Baptist. I mean, a lot of good games. So get out there and get that, man. Our time is up. We never seem to get to Class 1, Matt. I mean, I know
need to push it to 49.5 minutes.
We do. I can't talk fast enough to hit it on the dot, so I'm a little over, but that's all right. Rye will cut it up and make it sound good for Saturday. But go ahead, tell people where they can reach you at.
Elite Football Academy on Instagram, and Elite Football on X, and then elitefootball.net.
Yep. Go ahead and reach out to me at JP Rock MO on X, JP Rock Scouts U, the letter U on Instagram, and hit me up, gpsfootball.org. Book a free consultation and see what you got. I'll answer your questions, help you out any way I can. That does it for us. Check us out, football360show.com, X, YouTube, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy it and stay safe and enjoy your football. And we will